Ever find yourself getting frustrated with things that really shouldn't frustrate you? Ever find yourself needing to work to a deadline, even though really you don't need to work to the deadline, but you crave something about that deadline? Ever find yourself indulging in what you might call slightly self-destructive behaviors? Do you ever find yourself taking on multiple jobs and finding yourself stressed by the pressure of it all? Do you often leave things till the last minute? Do you have trouble doing nothing at all? There's never enough time in the day. You've got no time left to do the things you really love. You're always stressed. You're working late into the night. People say, can you come along to this? And you go, okay. And then you realize you don't have enough time. Do you worry what you might be missing out on? Fear of missing out, FOMO. When someone asks you how you are, do you normally reply, busy, stressed, God, everything's getting on top of me? Is that the kind of thing you're likely to respond? You're restless, you feel bad if you don't do something. You're restless and you feel bad if you've not got plans to do something. You're restless and you feel bad if someone just says to you, look, let's just do nothing for the day. You're always a bit late. Maybe you can't sleep at night. You have difficulty switching off. Maybe you have disaster fantasies. You're always daydreaming, and you can't help daydreaming about what might happen if things go wrong, or perhaps things are going wrong in these fantasies. Regardless of the reality of a situation, you can't help thinking that things are going wrong or will go wrong. Be honest. Do you sometimes hate yourself? Judge yourself really harshly? Think negative thoughts about yourself? You're not alone. These are signs of stress. Okay, now I'm not a clinical psychologist. I'm not here to define stress for you, but stress is a kind of reaction that you have physically, psychologically, emotionally to situations which somehow your body or your mind feels dangerous. Okay, so let's just assume you might be dyslexic. When you were at school, you were asked to read in front of the class. You were asked to hand in your homework. You were given homework you knew you weren't going to be able to do. You were given tasks you knew you weren't going to be able to do. You were put into situations where you knew that all the other kids in that school were going to look down on you for not being able to perform the way that they performed or the way that was expected. You knew that your teacher would look down on you. These are danger situations. These are situations that bring on stress. And indeed, you check the internet, you check the sources, this is just phenomenal. You will find that the amount of dyslexia-related stress that children suffer at school because of school is off the scale. It's far higher than the stress suffered by non-dyslexics. Clearly it's going to be, because if you're dyslexic, you're in that very environment that's going to stress you out. Okay, so school brings on stress, that response to a danger situation, and you end up feeling these feelings of panic, feeling that you've not got enough time, feeling that there's something wrong in your life. Now, as if that's not bad enough, not only were you forced into stressful situations at school, not only were you forced into these situations that felt dangerous at school, but there's something about that makes you now require these danger, stress, anxiety-ridden situations in adulthood. Why is that? It turns out that there are hormones and chemicals involved. You've got what you might call happy hormones and stressy hormones, happy hormones and sad hormones. And these hormones regulate your brain. You've also got chemicals in your brain that regulate your feelings. Chemicals such as dopamine. So these hormones, these chemicals that are splashing around in here, these regulate your mood, and they're triggered by stress. And what essentially happens in layman's terms is that your brain comes to find these as a base level. It needs them because they become quite common in your brain. They become very, very, very normal in your brain, and you kind of need them, and you need them to feel happy. And the more you need them to feel happy, the more you seek out stressful situations. You are, in other words, a stress addict. So, when you're at school, you're in stressful situations. These make your brain react in particular ways. You get releases of dopamine, you get releases of cortisol, you get releases of all sorts of chemicals and hormones. These chemicals, these hormones, are a reaction to the stressful situations, to the negative situations, and they allow you to feel okay. It's kind of your body's defense mechanism. It's very easy for your body, for your brain, to become essentially addicted to this. And the chances are, if you're dyslexic, if you suffered like that when you were at school, and now you go through life requiring these stressful situations, putting yourself into these stressful situations, giving yourself these stressful responses, and something inside you says, I function better like this. I don't want to lose this stress. I like this stress. It may just be that you are addicted to stress. Now, is there something you can do about this? Yes, there is. There's all sorts of things you can do about this. There's mindfulness, there's meditation, there's going for long walks. There's at least the awareness of what stress addiction is. There's loads of stuff you can do about it. I'm not here to tell you how to get over it. I'm not even here to tell you that you should get over it. But what I am here to tell you is that stuff you're going through, that stress, that self-destructive behavior, those damaging patterns of behavior you live through, and those nightmares that you suffer about how life is terrible, that's not your fault. That's being caused by the stressful situations you endured when you were at school and throughout life ever since. Stressful situations brought on by teachers, brought on by students, brought on by work. It's not your fault. There are things you can do about it. And I'm here to tell you that you're not alone.